Manager Hans Gudrian and DPW Director Allison Bustler here. Hans is going to give an overview of what the road conditions are like, what the crews are seeing out there, and where we are right now in this snow removal and ice removal operation. Hans?
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming out today. Just to give a brief overview of what we've experienced over the last 4 days or so at Waukesha County. Pretty much countywide, we experienced between 12 and 16 inches of snowfall. Most of that came on Friday into Saturday morning. We did have our full complement of 51 crew out for 16 hours, both Friday and Saturday, all day long. And then overnight we had 8 patrol workers patrolling. When we did get some more snow Saturday, that kind of hindered our efforts, and we had to readjust what we were trying to achieve. Throughout the storm Friday and Saturday, we had over 60 calls for trees that came down, and then we had another, probably 30 to 40 that the patrol workers, while performing their snow plowing route, encountered trees or branches that they had to remove from the roadway. So you couple that with the rate of snow that fell and the time that it all took to get that snow cleared, we have going on the phenomenon of hard pack on the road surfaces, which we've gotten several calls about, wondering what the process is to remove that hard pack and what we're doing to get the roads in safe condition again. So we've had crews in pretty much 24/7 since Thursday night at 7 p.m. And as we're going along, we found that the solution of sand or salt and brine quit working once the temperatures fell into the single digits. We did start applying a hot load mixture of brine and calcium chloride. That became kind of less effective after the sun goes down, and even in these frigid temperatures, it still kind of struggles to do anything with that hard pack. So we've, over the last 2 days, we've had 3 or 4 loaders out trying to scrape off that ice. They're getting to as many roads as they possibly can. Like I say, we've gotten several phone calls. The roads that they don't get to, we're sure that we're getting a sand salt mixture out there, so there's a little bit of grit on that ice just for some traction purposes. But I can assure you that back today, all 51 patrol workers were out all day long pushing that snow back and trying to address those citizen concerns of the hard pack and some sign and signals that were obstructed to view, and some other areas, side roads or crossovers where the snow is starting to get piled up that are causing some vision problems. So we'll continue day after day. We actually have a few crews still out today dealing with drifting. I know it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of wind or look like it, but we do have areas that drift. Some of that melt that occurred today when the sun is out refreezes once the sun goes down. So we had several calls again yesterday about icy spots after the crews were out during the daylight hours. So we continue to monitor and address that. In addition to our night crew, we'll continue scraping off the ice, and at some point we hope to get some bridge decks or heavily packed areas of snow removed so that traffic can continue.
Do you want people to call in? And if so, what's the process and the procedure when people call in?
It is helpful to call. We are aware of the situation. All 4 patrol soups have been out looking at the situation. I myself have driven it every day this weekend just to monitor our progress and kind of reassess where we're focused. But it's basically a road by road thing that we're dealing with right now, just to manage and do the best we can. Unfortunately, it looks like tomorrow is going to be another cold day, and maybe temperatures raise into the upper teens, maybe the lower 20s by Friday, and we're hoping that that will really help us to get this ice removed before the weekend.
You mentioned covering of signage, lights everywhere. We've seen it driving around. What kind of efforts are you guys doing to kind of clear those signs, and what does it take to make sure that, you mentioned drifting snow as well. I assume that's an issue when it comes to lights being covered, signs being covered on the road, things like that.
So starting Friday during the storm, we have a sign and signal department, one of those individuals went around and cleared as many calls as we could respond to. We have about 117 signalized intersections, and each of those have 3 to 4 sets of lights of 3 to 4 each. So that's a lot of lights to get around to. We continued that Sunday and Monday, and an individual going around today, especially in the New Berlin area, to get as many done as possible.
So is the county aware of any accidents that have been caused by temporary traffic lights or signs?
I do believe we did respond to a few during the storm, and we addressed those immediately. I know the state, any state road, we do call their electricians to come out and remove the snow that's obstructing them, but we have heard of a few obstructed view of the lights that cause accidents.
Not sure if this is a question for you, but we've talked to some people in apartment complexes who've had issues with parking lots. Obviously, that's not your responsibility to clear, but if residents aren't getting the remediation that they need, if their cars are stuck, if they've lost power in their garage, in their apartment unit won't open, what do you recommend folks to do if their apartment complex isn't responding? Who should they contact?
I would think their best contact would be their landlord, property managers. We did experience, over 100,000 power outages in Waukesha County alone. Our county staff did set up a warming center over the weekend to address some of that. But yeah, property managers, even local municipalities at times when their alleys or parking lots or entrances are obstructed.
Around when did you make the switch from salt brine to calcium mixture?
So at 5:30 on Friday night, when we knew that the temperatures were going to drop, and our crews, before they came back in to reload to go back Saturday morning, we dressed them to load up with the salt calcium brine mixture instead of the brine mixture.
Explain how that works better.
Well, at frigid temperatures, down to about 10, maybe 7 degrees, the calcium brine mixture should work with the salt to aid the melting process. It's not going to work everywhere to perfection, but that's kind of the method that we've applied over the past. Unfortunately, again, this storm was one of the bigger ones that we've seen in almost a decade here, and the rate of snow, it's hard to keep up, and once those temperatures fall, you're kind of at the mercy to play from the back seat.
So is it at that point that it's just plowing is the way out of it, as opposed to salt?
Yeah, plowing, staying ahead of it, plowing. We're a very populated county, and the traffic, once that wet snow adheres to the road and we can't get it off with our plows, it just continues to build up, and the material is our best method. And again, we have loaders out scraping it off just to get it off again.
Waukesha County, arguably probably in our viewing area, got hit the hardest when it comes to the snow. I mean, there's a significant difference when you're in the city of Milwaukee and you drive out to Waukesha County. You mentioned not seeing this type of weather within the last decade. Talk a little bit about the complexity of this issue. You have more than a foot of snow drop in less than 12 hours, and then we drop, way below freezing into the zeros. What kind of challenges does that provide for your team?
So, and to get to that point, go back to Tuesday where we started. This was a back-to-back-to-back scenario. Of course, we knew what conditions were going to assume to come on the weekend. But yeah, looking forward to that storm, particularly Friday, we did know the temperatures were going to drop, and we tried to get as much snow off the road as possible. That's the best method to get ahead of this. Unfortunately, at almost an inch an hour for 10 hours, that's hard to maintain. And you couple that with the trees and other obstacles that came in our way, the wind, it truly kind of was the perfect storm for a Friday, and we're still dealing with it here 4 days later.
How can residents help make your jobs easier?
Well, going back, the more they can stay home during the events like this, the less traffic there are to really beat that snow and make it ice. Of course, we want to keep them safe as well, and when they're plowing out their driveways, to be mindful at the end of their driveway how high they pile the snow and what obstructed view that can cause to traffic as well. So you couple those two things, that's mainly what they can do to aid us.
Just like a general idea of what the employees, what these DPW truck drivers are going through. So since Tuesday, they started 16-hour shifts and then they go home for sleep and then they come back and work 16 hours again? I guess what?
Correct. So our 51 patrol routes, so Tuesday morning they worked a 16-hour, call it 3 to 7 shift, go home, come back at 3 the next day. So they did that for 5 out of 6 days last week, just to keep up the roads on those storms in particular. And then once we get past the storm, we kind of specialize and attack what we can to, like I say, take loaders out and hit those hard to remove areas, because we can't be out there, during rush hour traffic. We want traffic, we don't want to hinder them or cause an accident. So we got to be mindful and pick our opportunities to get out there and really attack these otherwise. But yeah, 5 16-hour days in a 6-day stretch, and a few of them are coming in at midnight so that they're, like I say, not obstructing traffic. They'll work midnight to 3 or 4 just to get as much done off shift too.
I know a lot of municipalities had issues last winter and previously, kind of a COVID issue, not enough staffing. How do you feel like you guys did with staffing this time around? I mean, 51 crews seems like a lot.
Yeah, so we have 51 plow routes, and we have a total of 58 employees, and then 6 or 7 semi-full-time employees that work our nights. So we're in a pretty good position. Unfortunately, we had a retirement on Friday, so you couple that by when we have an accident and we have to wait for the results, we have to have somebody out of a plow truck for an extended period of time. So there does become some challenges, but the rotation and keeping everybody refreshed is our best method to couple that.
If I could, Hans, just to paint that picture a little bit more, because we're so proud of our employees and how hard they have worked. And so when they work 16 hours and they have about an 8-hour break, so remember that includes their drive time home. So in the worst of the snow, that could have been an hour. They are real people with real lives, with maybe children waiting at home or parents that need them to plow them out of their house. So they go home and they have their responsibilities at home, maybe get a couple hours sleep. They're back the very next day to do another 16-hour shift, and that repeats. And they have done just a fantastic job, and we work closely they work as much as they can while still being safe, right? And so everybody needs that rest, and we want to make sure they're at their best, that they can be on the road. So we're very proud of our team and all the hours that they put in. And just to paint the picture a little bit more, when we're doing those plow routes, some things, why was this snowfall maybe a little bit different in Waukesha County than an average storm? First of all, it was the rate at which the snow fell, 1 inch an hour for 10 hours. Then it was very wet snow. Then soon after, we got the deep freeze, which adhered it to the road. And then high winds knocked down a number of trees. And I think those trees that knocked out power lines, have been well publicized, but the people who clear those trees are the same people who plow the road, so they might need to put a chainsaw in their patrol truck, stop plowing, get out, clear that tree, and then get back in their plow. So those factors slowed us down somewhat. Another thing, I really just want the public to know, even though the sun is shining, they should still use extreme caution when they're driving on the roads. There are ice patches out there that they really need to take care of and look out for. Not every traffic signal intersection, there's still some snow cover on some of the signals, so they should approach all intersections with caution and make sure that everyone, both ways, can see those traffic signals. And it will likely stay this way for the next couple of days until we have time, until the sunshine helps us out, a little bit warmer weather, and the materials we're using Really for the next couple of days, they should exercise extreme caution when they're driving on the roads.
Any final questions? Yeah, thanks everybody. We will be having a news release hitting newsroom inboxes shortly after this. So thanks for coming, everybody.